Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hi, my name is Janelle and I upload new videos every Wednesday and Friday. In today's video, we are in a different setup because I wanted to show you guys my kind of like everyday glowy skin in the winter makeup routine. But I wanted to show you guys how it looks in like more natural lighting. I feel like in my studio, I have so many artificial lights that it's hard to see my natural skin texture. Dry patches, pores, all of that. Like the lights kind of just wash everything out. See how the products that I'm using actually look on the skin. I'm literally filming in my dining room. I have just 2 lights to help kind of like minimize some of the shadows, but other than that, I feel like you get a really clear picture of how the makeup and all that looks on. And yeah, if you guys want to see how I got this super simple, juicy, fresh skin in the dead of winter, then definitely please keep watching. Skin has been giving you problems this winter and it's been super dry and cracky and you can't get it to look like super healthy and glowy. This video is for you. So stay tuned and let's get into the video. All right, let's get the supermodel glow going. First off, I always start off with lip balm. My lips get so dry, like they're cracked on the inside again. It just looks crazy. Let me know if you guys like this filming setup. I just wanted to switch it up for today. This isn't gonna be permanent, but if you guys like it, I'll definitely film in my living room more often. I always prep my skin. I use like a very hydrating serum, vitamin C serum every day. My moisturizer, I use a CeraVe one. Then I'm gonna go in with my SPF. But lately what I've been liking to do is mixing my SPF with something like really bronzy and glowy. I just find that that gives my skin this really pretty, like healthy supermodel glow. Today I'm gonna be mixing it with my Status Stick by Dibs Beauty. This is in the shade Unbothered Bronze. So basically what I do is I dot this on my face like this. It's very dark. Don't be alarmed, but I promise you once I rub in the SPF, it comes together. Today I'm gonna be using the Supergoop Play All Day Sunscreen. This also helps me avoid like getting too bad of a white cast. Also, I have no idea what's going on with my bun here. Look at that glow. Okay, let's get these bangs out the way before they start getting very greasy. All right, so then from there, I'm just gonna lay down my eyebrows using my Got To Be Glued spiking gel. I love using this in my brow. I just dip my spoolie inside of the product, and then I'm gonna let this spoolie sit out for about a minute while I go ahead and dampen my beauty sponge. I'll be right back. I always work the product backward first, and then I go up. All right, so now let's do something about this base. So for my base, I have been loving the e.l.f. Camo CC. This is what gives my skin like the most healthiest. This is what gives my skin the most healthiest glow. My skin is normally never glowy or dewy in the Connecticut winter because it's just so dry and cold. And sometimes I use a brush, sometimes I use a beauty sponge. Today I'm just gonna be using my Morphe beauty sponge and pounce that into my skin. So definitely go in with a shade lighter. We were limited on shades when I was picking this up. I definitely want to go back and get a color a little lighter because it's a little too orange for me, but my concealer and all that helps blend it out. What I love about this is that it's like a foundation and a skincare product all in one. So it has like collagen, like very hydrating, juicy ingredients that are great for your skin. The reason why I wanted to film over here is because I feel like with the lights in my studio, for one, I don't get a lot of natural sunlight in my studio, and then 2, I feel like it's hard to see how makeup and all that actually looks on the skin. I use light pressure at first to like evenly disperse the product all throughout my skin. And then once it's all laid on there, I push it like so deep into my pores. In person, my makeup isn't like sitting on top of my face and looking super cakey. As far as concealer goes, I really love the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer for the winter time. I just find it's one of those concealers where it will give you full coverage, stay on your skin, but it's still very hydrating and juicy underneath of the eye. I also re-picked up my Born This Way concealer. This one's in the shade Cream Puff, and then my e.l.f. is in the shade Light Peach. Today I'm going to be using my Born This My concealer. I try not to go too overboard because I feel like this is the first area where it can tend to look cakey super quick. I lay it down first, and then I pick up a little bit on the back of my hand. I dip into that, and then a little bit of my leftover foundation, and then the concealer again, so everything melts together, and then I just lightly tap that into my skin. Gives such a flawless under eye finish. I just do light tapping motions. I don't rub it because I don't want to take away the coverage of the concealer, and I also don't want it to settle in any crevices. I find that by really pushing it and working it into the skin, you get that really seamless blend. And then I recently got the Dibs Beauty Desert Island Duo. This is in shade 2. You guys, I'm already obsessed with it. It melts into your skin like butter and gives you the most beautiful glow. So you get a really pretty creamy blush on one side, and then you get the contour on the other side. Combination for me, the contour isn't too warm, it's not too cool. Perfect for my complexion right now. And then the blush is in the shade You Do You, and it's just like the most pretty baby pink. It's like my go-to pinky blush shades that you guys know I love. So I like to apply 2 lines here, and then I do a line across my forehead, do a line up here and here. I also like how creamy these are, because a lot of times with creams like this, I can't apply them on top of my foundation, especially when my skin is dry, because it'll tug at it and move the product. But this is so creamy that it doesn't move your foundation when you apply it directly from the stick. Using my favorite, my Makeup by Mario F1 brush, and I just pick up a little excess and then start patting it on my cheek. It literally just melts into your skin like butter. It's the most pretty product and like perfect for getting juicy skin in the wintertime. I like to pat and push the product into my skin versus like rubbing it too much, and I find that that just gives me a more seamless blend and a more smooth and even contour. Then with the other side of my Makeup by Mario F1 brush, I pick up some on the tip, and then I just do little lines down the sides of my nose to lightly contour it. Nothing too crazy. This is such a beautiful product. And honestly, in the wintertime, because I focus so much on the skin and trying to get that to look healthy, dewy, and glowy, I honestly get pretty lazy when it comes to my eyes. So I just take the same contour stick, and with the other side of my Makeup by Mario F1 brush, that's what I start working in my crease. And I kind of use it as like a cream shadow, and then I just set it with my bronzer that I'm going to go in with later. What are some of you guys' favorite like winter skin products at the moment? Really curious to know, because I'm always wanting to try new ones. Last year was my first winter in New England, and my skin was so shook. Luckily, like this year, I feel like I was better prepared to like switch up my products before it was too late. I just remember last year it being a struggle. And then you can build up that cream to the intensity you want. If you want it like more dark and smoky, you just add a little bit more. And I just kind of like tap it and flick it up and out. I'm also gonna lightly contour my lip, just the bottom here and a little bit at the top. And I always take a little extra contour with the small part of the brush and just put it right in here, just to define my cheekbones a little bit more. And now we're gonna take the other side of that, the blush part, and you can apply the blush directly to your face. I'm just gonna pick it up with the tip of my brush. I have applied it directly to my face and it doesn't break up the foundation, which is really nice. But I would just prefer doing it on the brush first, because this blush is so pigmented. Like, do you guys see that? The color though is just so pretty. Just really work it into my skin. Take whatever's left across my nose, across my forehead, and I even bring it across my eyelids. Helps look like that flush is naturally going throughout your face, so it just gives you a more natural, glowy look to your skin. Also going to take the Dibs Beauty Status stick. This one's in the shade High Road Highlight, which you guys, I love this because it reminds me so much of my Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Beauty Wand, which is always sold out. The coloring of this is almost identical to that. It's like that pretty champagne rosy, a little bit of a gold undertone, but this one's in stock, which is nice. So I take that with the tip of my brush, the same Makeup by Mario F1 face brush. I literally use the same brush for everything. It just helps kind of like mesh all the products together. And then I just tap that on the high points of my cheeks. Do you see though how like healthy and glowy my skin is looking right now? All right, so now that we have this like wet skin glow, a lot of you guys might be concerned if your skin's like combination oily, which I get oily in the T-zone. So I like to do at this point is take my Maybelline Lasting Fix setting spray. This will help my makeup stay put all day, but it will allow for me to keep this glow. And then when I set my face with powder, it just helps the powder like melt in. And then I take my Fenty Beauty, this is the Universal Invisible Matte Powder, and I pick that up with my damp sponge, and I just start tapping it for one wherever I have more textured skin. So in here, it'll just, see how it instantly smooths out those pores. Forehead, do a little bit underneath of the eye. Face, just super lightly with whatever's left on my sponge. not applying a lot of pressure and not applying a lot of product. I still always have to bake somewhat, not like an intense bake, but enough to where my under eyes are bright. If not, they tend to like crease up and just look dull. So to bake, I use my Hourglass Veil translucent powder. This is the only powder that works for me that doesn't end up looking too dry or crepey underneath my eyes. And then I pick it up again with my damp beauty sponge and I start doing it on the sides of my nose first, like that. And then I tap inward and then out. How smooth that leaves your skin. This side, I always work a majority of the product in the back of my hand so that there's not too much powder on my sponge. And then I push it inward and then out and again and out. And then whatever's left, I just kind of like bring down around my mouth, my forehead. Then I'll just like push in any excess product. I don't wipe away the bake because I find if I wipe it away, it can tend to make my face look like streaky. Whereas if I push it into my skin, it gives me a much more smoother airbrushed finish. And then I take whatever's left on my sponge and just set my eyelid. That way I still have the contour shades there, but it's not too shiny and that way it won't like crease up on me. One of my favorite bronzers to use in the winter time, and it's the Hourglass Ambient Bronzer in the shade Bronze Light. This just melts into your skin and gives you this all over lit from within glow. It's not chunky or shimmery. It's a super fine, just like sheen. I like to apply it with my Hourglass bronzer brush and I take the small side and I just start by pushing it into my hairline. Again, I always tap, don't rub. Rubbing it will apply the product faster. Also tend to make products look not as like smooth and airbrushed. So I like to take my time and just kind of like slowly build it up and just push it into my skin. And then I just smile. That way I don't bring it down too low and I just start tapping it on my cheek. And I love this makeup look because even like right now, I have a bunch of different products on, but for one, I use a little bit of a lot of product. So that way it just looks like you, it looks airbrushed. You don't feel like you transformed your whole face and like you're a whole different person with like a million pounds of makeup on. It just looks like you, just like a healthier, more glowy version of you. Following that, I just take a really fluffy eyeshadow brush. Again, in the wintertime, I focus so much on the skin that I don't want to spend a bunch of time on my eyeshadow. So I just take a fluffy brush and that same bronzer, and this is stunning all over the eyes because when the light hits your eyes, it'll pick up a little bit of that sheen without it being overpowering. This is gonna look pretty, even if you have more mature skin. Don't be scared of this because this will give you that perfect amount of glow without like enhancing any fine lines or texture on the eye. So I just like to tap it first with the flat part of the brush, and then with the tip of the brush, I'll start blending it up into pretty much my eyebrow. Like I literally will work this all the way up into my brow bone. And then I'll sometimes take whatever's left on my brush. I want to further define my cheeks a little bit more. Also on the eyes, I'll take a small brush and that same High Road highlight. With a small brush, I'll just use that to enhance my inner corner. A little bit more on the tip of my nose. And you guys might think it's weird to put creams on top of powders, but as long as you work it into a brush properly, this is what's gonna help your skin keep that juicy glow even after setting your face with powders. Then I'm gonna set my face again with my Maybelline Lasting Fix because again, this locks everything in place. But this will also create a like wet moisturized base. So when I apply my creams on top of my powder at this point, it's not going to break up my powder or separate it. This is the key to getting that like juicy, glowy skin in the wintertime. And I'm gonna go back into my Dibs Beauty Desert Duo. I'm gonna take that blush, I'm gonna work it into this Makeup by Mario F3 face brush. The key is really working it into a brush. Tap excess on my hand just to make sure I don't have too much. And then I just smile and reapply that to my cheeks. So instead of going in with a powder blush, I'm just really lightly working this blush on top of the powder. See how it gives you that really pretty, just like flush, glowy look, like that supermodel glow. I'm gonna take my F1 face brush and go back into the High Road highlight, work it into the tip of the brush, and then just lightly tap it only to the high points of my cheek and the high points of my forehead. And then we're gonna spray our face again with the Maybelline Lasting Fix. Taking my Fenty pressed powder again, you can use any pressed powder, just a tiny bit, work it into the tip of your sponge. And this time you're only gonna focus it where your pores are pretty large. So I'm gonna focus it right in here, just because I want the glow, but too much glow tends to enhance my larger pores in here. So I just push it in there, that way it will kind of hide my larger pores, but I can still get that glow everywhere else on the skin. I'm now just gonna take any sort of brown eyeliner. This one is by MAC. It's in the shade Brown Border. I just apply a little bit, mainly to the end. So starting at my lower lash line, I'll just kind of blink and go up like that. And then I tight line underneath. I always like to tight line this inner corner too, as well as this outer corner. And I'll bring a little bit to the top part of my lash line. Nothing too crazy because like I said, the focus is more the skin, not so much the eyes. All right, I'm gonna curl my lashes and apply my mascara and all that off camera. And then I'm also gonna fill in my eyebrows. Also the mascara combo I'm gonna be using is my MAC False Lash Maximizer, my Maybelline Falsie's Lash Lift Mascara. Why is that such a tongue twister? And then my Lancome Idole mascara. To be honest, this mascara is pretty much out. I just use it because the wand is like a nice plastic wand, so it helps me just like separate any clumps that I might get with this mascara, since this is a more like voluminous mascara, but it gives you a ton of length and curl. And then this last part is probably the most simple, but it is my favorite part. And I just take my Kokie lip pencil, or honestly any lip pencil. This one's in the shade Dusty Rose. Any like natural lip. It can either be like a natural lip pinky tone or even like a chocolatey warm tone. I just line my lip and then I go right over top of that with my Baderscu lip balm, the same one that I used earlier. This is like the most beautiful lip gloss. It's also a lip balm, so it'll melt into any of those stubborn cracks or crevices that are on your lips in the winter time. It is like the most beautiful lip product to wear as like a regular makeup product in the winter time. And I could even take a little bit of my cream blush to really tie everything together and just dab a little bit of that in the center. Alright you guys, and that's how I get my everyday glowy skin in the winter makeup look. Super simple, a lot of steps, but I feel like totally worth it for your skin to look like this healthy and juicy and just fresh and like just like that supermodel glow. So if you guys did enjoy this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys want to see next. Also, let me know if you guys like this filming setup, or if you want me to go back to my regular studio. I really don't care. I can film wherever. I'll film in my car if you guys really want me to. But yeah, I love you guys. I pray that you all have an amazing day. I'll have everything linked down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!